Let's go back a little bit. The 31st of March, 2024. That is the date that the crew shut down, but also the date in which work began to rebuild this game's infrastructure. I don't need to tell you how important the crew one is to me and a whole lot of us. In fact, I did a whole playthrough of the game just before the end to make sure that we had this for preservation, you know, in case they couldn't get the servers back online. Well, today, friends, I am happy to show you the progress that the team have been making. So when we last left it, this is what we had to deal with. We had the menu and the new game option working. They had the ability to load into the map working. And when it zoomed in onto the map, it went black, and that's all we saw. But it would turn out they've produced a lot more work since then. In my opinion, I've seen it getting faster and faster and faster. And there is so much more exciting stuff than just the game working as it did before. Now, this is a huge job. And the way this works is actually quite interesting, and it's kind of reverse engineering the game to make it work. So there is no question and no doubt and no way to change this right now. What has to happen is the game has to request to the servers specific functionality. It requests. And if there is no received response from the server, then quite frankly, the game just will not function, will not work. So what they're having to do is create the server from scratch, essentially, to basically give back, to feed back this information that's required and requested from the game itself. So therefore, you might be wondering, well, doesn't that mean that we will still need a server connection? Kinda. Because ultimately, the idea would be that you can host the server on your own machine and play. Now, what this also theoretically means is that not only can you play offline on your own, you could play with your friends on a hosted server on your own local machine, meaning anyone could host this and have a server of multiple people. But also theoretically, that would mean that I, or whoever, the creators of this, could create their own server, open it up to as many people as possible, and have a big open world multiplayer version of the crew again. But of course, realistically, doing that would mean that, again, if for example, Ubisoft say shut that down, then a bit of trouble. With everyone has it locally between their friend groups, well, you'll never lose your save data. So that, realistically, is probably the way to go. Now, you've been seeing in the background that this progress has been immense. They are doing incredible work to get this going. So every single mission, every single interaction with the server, so going into a garage, equipping a part, receiving a part, the random generation of parts, in fact, fun fact, has actually been changed a little bit based on how it was before. They can change those things if they want to. For before, maybe it was randomly generated and you could get a weaker part or a better part, but they decide that no, we want it to always give better parts. We want you to get instantly the best parts in the game. And that might be useful if you want to just jump to the end game. It allows me and you to play with the games in ways we could never have possibly imagined before. Which does beg the question, how far can we go? Now, they mentioned previously that modding support may be a possibility with this, which would instantly change the world, realistically. Because before, we could not mod this game. It was online, it required authentication with a server, and so these mods will be a little bit awkward in that they may require authentication with the server, checking in, is this doable? Is this something that we have to install locally and to the server to apply these modifications? But the whole of the USA, with custom cars, modifications, anything we see fit in this game, we could theoretically do whatever we want at that point. The game doesn't have to authenticate with the official Ubisoft servers, so that handling model that's not fantastic in the crew, well, we could improve it theoretically by modifying the game and also modifying the server so that, you know, it doesn't scream at us and saying this thing is wrong and kick you back to the main menu. We would have full control of this game. Now, it does make you question the idea, would Ubisoft be okay with this? Because let's be real, the Crew 2 is still alive. You can still access the game, you can still play the game, and the biggest selling point is the size of the map. But we don't know whether the Crew 2 will last, so it would be really wrong and disgusting for Ubisoft, more so specifically Ivory Tower, to go against a project like this, because I'm sure that there are Ivory Tower staff members, and I know there would be Ivory Tower staff members that are so appreciative of this project keeping their baby alive, or bringing it back to life, and possibly better than ever, doing a big screw you to car manufacturers, because they are the enemy. They are the worst damn thing to happen to racing games. I hate you all. You think you could take the Crew away from us? You think you could take Drive in San Francisco away from us? We will not allow it. Maybe a short period of time while we rebuild, reconstruct, reanimate these games. But my God, I cannot wait for that very faithful day where all of a sudden I can jump back into the Crew and do a coast to coast. Throughout this video, you've definitely been seeing these progress reports. So this is not just something I'm throwing at for the sake of it. US dates, by the way. As I mentioned, every little detail of the game's requests, everything you do has to be allowed, received, and given feedback by the server. For example, even seeing these random ass objectives that just show around the location, that needs to happen. The events you need to receive back some information to be able to actually play all the missions. So every mission needs to be covered, every activity. For another example, the smart loot system. Now, this one in particular might actually be a one and done situation for events anyway, because it just goes, what's the parts? Let's give it better parts. And as I said, they can tweak it and change it to how they want. We might be able to get to a point where there's a server browser and you can just pick the ones you want with more cars or not. The garage system, implemented. The workshop customization and stuff in there, implemented. Free drive, completely accessible now. You can drive wherever you want. You can do a good old coast to coast. In fact, they have a dedicated video showing them doing a big road trip of the map. Skills, playable, implemented. The reward systems for them, implemented. The amount of work that this is requiring them to do and constantly giving us updates along the way of doing this is so awesome. And any boost of like activity and support that I can give them, I am absolutely wanting to do. And I thought it would just be so ideal to wait a little bit and show you in bulk what we will be getting back to, hopefully very, very soon. In fact, I'll link this video at the end because I recommend you watch it. It'll get you in the feels, no doubt. But this is the road trip in the Crew, in the Mustang, as it should be. Driving through Michigan, doing skills along the way. I'm just dreaming of this now. This might have won me over as being the most exciting racing game this year. It's the Crew 1 coming out again, but with more abilities for us to ruin the game to our liking. A little bit of Chicago cruising as well. Anyway, I'll leave this for you to watch. So finally, this is the most recent update, and I have personally not watched this one myself. Progress report number 5. Oh, I love the effects they've started putting on the videos as well. So back in the Mustang, and we are driving to car wrecks. I completely forgot the system of car wrecks as well, which again, we could play with and implement our own pissing car wrecks if we want to. They've clearly implemented the whole system because they've now just gone around and collected 20 of the cars. I think I only did this on my base PlayStation version of the game, but my God, there you go. Find all the parts and wabam, you have got yourself a new ride. The Hop one. Is that the Hop one? I think that's the Hop one. And of course, not just the wrecks, also implementing the damn hidden car itself. Oh, this is the progress like award system. Yes, this is something I didn't actually complete, and I really wish I did, but this is something that I can now go back to and do. My God, I'm so I'm excited. Can you tell? I kind of got that feeling like the game's coming out again. Nice job on the platinum there, sir. Nice job. 37. Ooh, there you go. There's the award. Oh my God, that's so sick. This is something I completely forgot about in the Crew, but the custom license plate, not custom license plates, but the license plates you earn as you progress, that's something they still haven't re-implemented or allowed us to do fully custom license plates. I don't understand why, because this is such a cool system. It felt like an extra little reward to get. And I've been saying this to so many games for so long. Having special license plates is a really cool thing. The data towers implemented. Like, how far away, actually, are they from the completion of this project? At least that we can play it and maybe run into a few issues. Such a stunning game. I wonder about the weather as well. If we have control of the server, can we keep it a certain time of day if we want to? Or make it night racing only on one server? Or day racing only on one server? Or constantly raining? Or implement weather based on how we want it to be implemented. The perk system's been implemented. Holy crap! Oh my god, they're doing work. This is the Midwest chapters. So those are all playable now. So I'm guessing that's basically the beginning of the game is now entirely playable. Man, this is a lot of progress. And as I said, they started work on this project properly around the time in where the game shut down. So the end of March, beginning of April. So in what, 2 or 3 months, we have got most of the game playable. And I think I don't want to put pressure on them, but they're doing incredible work so quickly. And in my mind, the most complicated elements have been completed. By the way, the crew music is so amazing. I love it so much. This is oh, that's the Troy section, the drag race with Troy. Man, I feel like I've just played this game. Every time I see this section, that drag race was so scripted. Like, if you had your car 1 or 2 parts underneath, you would be decimated on that event. It was so slimy. St. Louis is the next element of it. Do join the server. I'll link the project down below if you want to keep up to date with it. It is not out right now, but we are closing in on it happening. There's always the question of PlayStation, and I'm going to say probably not, but not theoretically not possible. But your save game's gone, so play it on PC. Check out the video I made on this previously, where we saw the first clip, but also how you can help Stop Killing Games, the website.